And like, what's the point where you're like, oh yeah, like now I should start getting paid for this kind of work?
I feel like it's when I can do it better than 90% of the people around me.
Oh, so okay, cool. So you're almost like using it as like a metric where you're like, if right, because it's a demand for you specifically,
yes.
for your craft, right?
Right.
If I'm better than 90% of the people, there's actually a demand for this person to hire me because I can do this really well.
Yeah.
But then like, I feel like so much of what we do as artists is about not comparing ourselves to others and stuff like that, because that can be like kind of a dangerous thing to involve yourself in. So like, how do you do that in like a safe way? How do you say I'm better than 90% of the people, even though what we're doing is completely subjective?
That's a hard ass question.
Yeah, it
dude.
is. I don't know if I have the answer to it either, and I think that's kind of the root of this whole episode. This whole
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can see that. I mean, first thing that you have to gauge off of, and this is not always reliable, but like audience reaction,
sure,
is a part of it, right?
Sure.
It could be a part of it. Like, let's say, just for example, like I spent some time on a video and I posted it, and it got like exponentially more views than the rest of the things on my YouTube page. I mean, that starts my reputation.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
This is what I'm good at,
right.
and there's an audience reaction to prove it. Also, I think just history too. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if you start in like a small network and somebody will pay you $50 for a production, that's your new standard. That's your new base rate, $50, because the value is determined by, number one, you knowing what you're worth, and also by the people around you naming the price that you're worth.
Sure. Yeah, no, I agree. I think proof of concept through like an audience reaction is a really strong metric, and like can be misused sometimes too, because I feel like a lot of the times like people will be like, oh, like this producer has X amount of streams.
Yes.
So, if I want those streams, I have to hire this producer, which is just not true. But
it's not true, but it's definitely deceptive, and it's definitely effective.
It is for sure, but I think it's more effective to me if I'm in the position where I'm hiring a producer, or if I am the producer being hired. Like, I'm only telling you that I have this amount of streams credited because I want you to know, not that I bring in streams every single time I produce something, but it's because I have experience. I have enough experience to garnish this amount of attention around my work. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's my answer to this question. Like, I know that I'm ready to start charging for something when I can reliably and consistently reproduce a high quality product that meets somebody's standards every single time. You know what I mean?
So then what if your standards for high quality don't align with the customers?
As in they're higher or lower?
As in like your standards are much higher.
Okay, that's an interesting. Yeah, and this can happen for sure.
Just because that's realistic. We both run into that before.
Absolutely, all the time.
Yeah.
I think that like ultimately, if you're in a mature and well-rounded collaboration that you're being paid for, because even if you're being hired, you're still collaborating, right? And both you and the person that are hiring you should be trying to make the song the best thing possible, right? And like sometimes it just ends up being that you're going to satisfy the person that hired you, right? And that's like the only goal in mind. So I feel like I'm always going to try to make an effort to make the song the best version it can be with the person who's hiring me, even if I think it could be better than what they're accepting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like in that situation, at the end of the day, that the artist is the final word. You know what I'm saying? And they're paying me to do something, and I should do it the way they want it to be. But I will, of course, try to inject my own, because you're not hiring me because I can make cool drums or because I can do this. You're hiring me for my taste. You're hiring me for my ability to bring the song to the version of it that I can be. That's, you know, or that it could be.
And your opinion.
And
too.
my opinion. You're hiring me for my opinion. Who said that?
Jetter said that.
Jetter said that, and Willie Green said that too.
Yes.
I remember being super like that kind of made a lot of sense to me, because it's like, right, like he said that exact thing. He was like people are not hiring me because my drums knock. Like, yeah, sure, my drums knock. He goes, but they're hiring me for my opinion. And like, if they're hiring you, don't be afraid to voice your opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the end of the day, you do want to satisfy the client. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
yes.
Truth.